There are 1,000 things that can take over your mind at every given moment, but not every thought is something that is ours to necessarily jump on and to be thinking about and focusing on. So I really like this trick by looking at your thoughts as a train. I know that sounds funny, but hang with me so I can explain this. Think about yourself at a train station and you are just standing at this spot waiting for these trains to come. It is busy. There are trains going every which way. Not every train is going to take you where you need to go. So not every thought is one that you need to play out. Sometimes these negative thoughts may come, but it is not necessarily your train to jump on. We'll try to like push it away or shove it away. And if you know anything about trains, that is impossible, right? Too heavy, it's not gonna work. And so people will try to push those thoughts away or pretend that they're not thinking about them, but it's proven that that actually doesn't help. It can cause some more stress around the whole situation. So allowing the thought to come and to just sit there and acknowledge that it's present and that it is before you gives you a space where you can acknowledge it and then let it go. So that train will come, you're standing there, that thought will come, it will open its doors, and it might feel uncomfortable standing in front of a train when its doors are open. You don't need to jump on it, and you know that those negative feelings will pass when that train passes. Allow those doors to open, allow those doors to close, and let them keep going. If you jump on every train that is coming your way, then you will end up being lost and you will wonder, how in the world did I get to this destination in my thoughts and in my mind? Because you're jumping on one train after another and you actually aren't getting to where you wanted to be. When you have that train, that thought that is for you, you can step on it and you can ride it to the destination you are going. This takes a lot of time, especially if you're used to thinking more negatively and just kind of not being aware of what your thoughts are, because it's kind of like you walk down the same path every day or you take the same route to work and you can get there without even really having to think about the directions. You just automatically go there because your brain has taken over that space, so you don't always have to be thinking about what you're doing because it's so used to just going that same way. Your brain is programmed at this point to ride things out in the same pathway that they did before. So when you are trying to create a different path of thoughts, it's something that takes work and conscious effort in. So sometimes writing down your thoughts for maybe a day, 2 days, 3 days, just jotting down every single thing that comes to mind, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, so that you're aware of the themes that are actually playing out in your mind. You might have certain things that you see are kind of are patterns. And this will give you knowledge, and knowledge is power. So when you have the knowledge of what is actually happening in your brain, you can do something with it and about it. Keep your desires in check, and here's why. Desires can be a starting place of a beautiful, positive changes in life. So it is not always a negative thing or something that is bad. But being aware of what your desires are and keeping them in check is helpful, because desires sometimes change into other things. Desires can start off small. You might not even necessarily feel them growing in the beginning, but then they start to kind of take over and they can kick up against everything else around us. Unchecked desires can become expectations, and expectations can become wants, and then wants can become needs. When we have a need that goes unmet, we'll do just about anything to get them met. It's just part of who we are as human beings. But sometimes it becomes something that is negative because we didn't keep them in check from the beginning and we weren't aware of how these needs even became needs in the first place. Speaking about needs, one of the needs that you have are self-care. When I say self-care, I mean like true self-care. I'm not just talking about going in and getting a bath, going and getting a pedicure, even though I am in full support of those things and I think they are important, and girl, go get it done. Do what you need to, find some enjoyment. But when I talk about self-care, I mean this idea of feeding your soul, your mind, your will, and your emotions, and those things that make you you and the uniqueness of who you are. And so we all have needs deep down because of the way that we were created. What happens is if you aren't getting your needs met in these different areas, then you will struggle more with anxiety, more with depression, more with anger, frustration, all of those negative things that we're trying to step out of. So learning what your specific needs are simply because of who you're created to be is so beneficial, because you will understand how to get those needs met in a more unique way to you. It is not selfish to feed your soul. It is actually a pretty basic need that we have as human beings. What is the self-care that you need in feeding your soul? Maybe that is a stirring passion that you have had that you have just set on the back burner because you feel like it is not the time, or that you just don't don't have the energy, but maybe it's time to pick that back up, because your identity is, yes, a mom and serving your children, and maybe it is in being a spouse, and those are beautiful aspects of who you are and part of your identity, but you are also a unique individual. What are some of those passions? It doesn't need to take up all this time. It doesn't need to be something that takes over your life. It could simply just be trying something new, maybe going and doing a sport and feeling accomplished. So yes, folding a load of laundry is accomplishing something, but that's not necessarily feeding your soul. I mean, maybe it is, it's just not feeding mine. And I don't think that it ever will. Laundry is my enemy. Maybe it is a hobby that you have been wanting to try out for a long time, and that creative space, because you have this creativeness inside of you that you want to just be able to pour in. Maybe it is writing and journaling. It could be starting a YouTube channel, really getting that good fellowship with the people that you've been wanting to spend some time with, because you are a people-oriented person. Ways that you can feed that area of yourself with having balance, right? Because it's all about balance. It does not need to take over. It doesn't become more of an idol in your life and something that you're placing before everything else, but creating that balance of, when can I get this done? When can I fit it in where I feel like I am me, and not losing that part of what makes you you. You might have a very supportive spouse or supportive friends that see, okay, you're a little drained, you just need a date night, you just need some time to get out and be by yourself. But if you don't take that time and you don't, set yourself up to be at a position of receiving that care that you need, that is on you. I'm gonna say something, people aren't gonna like it. Maybe I shouldn't even add this into it, but that kind of touches on this whole idea of the victim mindset and victim mentality. I want to be gentle, so don't like jump off of here and start freaking out being like, I am a victim and you are not being supportive and understanding, because that is not what I'm talking about. If you have been a victim, like most of us have in life, then that is an area you need to address. Maybe you are stuck in a situation now that you need to set up some serious boundaries, and you need to get some serious healing, and you need to remove yourself from that situation. But the thing is, when we are a victim, when we have been put in a position of abuse and not being cared for with love and respect like we deserve, it is going to affect you. And go get the healing that you need. You are worthy of that, okay? And that might be part of the thing that needs to be your self-care and feeding your soul, because you are worthy of finding that healing. When I'm talking about this idea of the victim mentality, I'm not talking about that situation. I'm talking about the woe is me, the no one sees me, no one hears me, I am unseen. And maybe some of that is true, but it's also, this idea of your mindset in your situation and you not taking responsibility for yourself. Okay, and I'm only saying this because, girl, I have been a victim, absolutely, in certain things that have taken place in my life. And I walked around for a hot minute. When I say that, I mean years, with this victim mentality of everyone is against me. I need to fight for myself because no one's going to. Kind of created this hard exterior and this negativity. It's like I had this big old stamp on my forehead that was like, I am a victim and I don't want your pity, but I need you to respect me. Trying to like almost push others down around me in order to rise myself up. And then that's really just suppressing others and doing the same kind of thing. So that will definitely carry over into your parenting and how you address relationships, because when you are a victim, when you have gone through hard things, if you don't walk through them, heal from them, and address them, it will negatively impact your life. But you can rise above that, you can move forward, and that does not need to be the thing that defines you any longer. When we're talking about shifting our mindset and being in a better space as a mom, this is something that some of us really need to look at and address and even grieve through, and understanding like that healing process, that there is grief within inside of that because of what are things that you might have experienced. But being able to grow through that and heal through it in order to continue moving forward is the best gift that you can give yourself and give your family. If you found this content helpful at all, then please check out this video, because I think that this is going to be the next one for you that you might enjoy. And I will see you over there.